What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Saturday, May 7th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 7-game slate here tonight. So let's take a look at the pitcher position. So the stud that I like here tonight, even though he doesn't have great pitcher versus batter matchup here, his splits are fantastic. So take a look at Corbin Burns. He's got a 13% pitching advantage over the Atlanta Braves. Corbin Burns pitches his best ball versus righty batters, only giving up a .420 OPS versus righties, and he's facing 7 righties here tonight. Now, the Braves have hit 12 of his last 37 pitches for a .324 batting average, but those splits are just so good. I'm going to throw that out here. And he's $10,900 FanDuel salary, $600 less on DraftKings, averaging 46 fantasy points per game on the season, has an ERA of 1.93, record is 1-1, pitching an average of 98 pitches per game. So I like Corbin Burns in actually a game that's going to be a low-scoring game. Vegas thinks there's going to be 6.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Corbin Burns in a low-scoring game here versus the Atlanta Braves. Now, another guy, he's got good pitcher versus batter history. His price tag is a little bit more than I want to pay, but he's been pitching pretty well. And Vegas also thinks that this is going to be a low-scoring game. So take a look at Max Fried. He's got a 7% pitching advantage here over the Milwaukee Brewers. He pitches really well versus lefty and righties, only giving up a .587 OPS. And his weak pitch is to switch hitters. And he's not facing any switch hitters, 4 lefties and 5 righties. And on top of that, the Brewers have only hit 9 of his last 53 pitches. That's a .170 batting average. Now, he is $9,700 FanDuel salary. He's $800 less on DraftKings. So I do prefer Corbin Burns here if you can squeeze out that salary. But if not, I think he's an interesting play. He's averaging 34 fantasy points per game on the season. Got an ERA of 3, record is 3-2, pitching an average of 87 pitches per game. So I like Max Fried here versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, if you do want to save some salary on a pitcher, take a look at Michael Lorenzen with an 8% pitching advantage over the Washington Nationals. Michael Lorenzen only giving up a .476 OPS versus righties, facing 4 righties. He also pitches good versus switch hitters, only giving up a .551 OPS versus switch hitters, facing 3 switch hitters. And the Nationals have only hit 9 of his last 38 pitches. That's a .237 batting average. He's $7,900 FanDuel salary, $700 less on DraftKings, averaging 30 fantasy points per game on the season, has an ERA of 3.04, record is 3-1, pitching an average of 90 pitches per game. So I like Michael Lorenzen here versus the Washington Nationals. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. Now, if you're not going to play Corbin Burns, take a look at Matt Olson. He's got a 38% batting advantage here over Corbin Burnes. Matt Olson batting a .894 OPS versus righties. Corbin Burnes pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .637 OPS versus lefties. And I like this pick because Matt Olson is only $3,300 FanDuel salary. He is $1,800 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. And he has a batting average of .275. And he scored some fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. So he seems to be a guy that not going to get you a 0 very often. So I like Matt Olson here versus Corbin Burnes. Now I also like Yandy Diaz with a 28% batting advantage over Marco Gonzalez. Yandy Diaz batting 16% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .899 OPS versus lefties. Marco Gonzalez pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, 11% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .881 OPS versus righties. Yandy Diaz is 0 for 3 versus Gonzalez, but I like the splits here and I like his price tag. Only $2,900 FanDuel salary, $1,400 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .308. So I like Yandy Diaz here versus Marco Gonzalez. Okay, everyone, it's time to announce the winner of our $25 weekly PayPal giveaway. And the winner is Chris Torres. Chris Torres, congratulations. You are the winner of this week's $25 PayPal giveaway. Please reply to our comment to collect your prize.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Tommy Edman batting against, he's got a 24% batting advantage over Logan Webb. Tommy Edman batting a .784 OPS versus righties. Logan Webb pitches his worst ball versus switch hitters, 38% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .967 OPS versus switch hitters. Tommy Edman is 2 for 4 with a 1.250 OPS versus Webb. He's $3,400 FanDuel salary, $1,800 more on DraftKings, averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .322. So I like Tommy Edman here versus Logan Webb. Now I also like Ketel Marte with a 43% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Kyle Freeland. Ketel Marte batting 18% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .853 OPS versus lefties. Kyle Freeland pitching his worst ball versus switch hitters, 25% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.049 OPS versus switch hitters. Now I like this pick because Ketel Marte is 10 for 29 with a .345 batting average and a 1.043 OPS versus Freeland. He's only $2,900 FanDuel salary, $1,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 7 fantasy points per game on the season, but he's been on fire, scoring 9, 21, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games. And actually, his last 5 games have been fantastic. Now, he only has a batting average of 179, but it looks like he is turning that around. So I don't know if he just started the season really bad, but he's put up pretty good numbers the past 5 games. So I like Ketel Marte here versus Kyle Freeland. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. Here's a value play. I like Jason Vossler with a 35% batting advantage over Steven Matz. Jason Vossler is batting 23% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .924 OPS versus lefties. Steven Matz is pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 12% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .085 OPS versus lefties. Now, I like this pick because Jason Vossler, only $2,400 FanDuel salary and only 100 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of 286. So I like Jason Vossler here versus Steven Matz.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Wander Franco. He's got a 16% batting advantage over Marco Gonzalez. Wander Franco batting 33% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.076 OPS versus lefties. Marco Gonzalez actually pitches pretty well versus switch hitters, only giving up a .691 OPS versus switch hitters. Now, Wander Franco is 0 for 1 versus Gonzalez. He's $3,800 FanDuel salary, $1,300 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season, and he has a batting average of 298. So I like Wander Franco here versus Marco Gonzalez. I also like J.P. Crawford with a 13% batting advantage over Drew Rasmussen. J.P. Crawford batting a .842 OPS versus righties. Drew Rasmussen pitching his worst ball versus lefty batters, 13% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .627 OPS versus lefties. Now, J.P. Crawford is 0 for 2 versus Rasmussen, and he's $3,600 FanDuel salary, $900 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season, and I like this pick because he has a batting average of 347. So I like J.P. Crawford here versus Drew Rasmussen. Okay, moving on to the outfield position, I like Austin Hayes with a 26% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Carlos Hernandez. Austin Hayes is batting 10% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .793 OPS versus righties. Carlos Hernandez pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .900 OPS versus righties. So he's pitching 17% worse to righties as he is lefties. And Austin Hayes is 1 for 2 with a 1 OPS versus Hernandez. He's $2,900 FanDuel salary, and he's only $300 more on DraftKings. averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been on fire, scoring 22, 10, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games. And he has a batting average of 287. So I like Austin Hayes here versus Carlos Hernandez. Now I also like Andrew Benintendi with a 36% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Jordan Lyles. Andrew Benintendi batting 17% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .833 OPS versus righties. Jordan Lyles not pitching that well versus lefties, giving up a .973 OPS versus lefties. And Andrew Benintendi is 1 for 3 versus Lyles. He's only $2,600 FanDuel salary, $1,500 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season. And I like this pick because he has a batting average of 354. So I like Andrew Benintendi here versus Jordan Lyles. Now, another value play you could take a look at here is Harold Ramirez with a 39% batting advantage over the low salary pitcher Marco Gonzalez. Harold Ramirez batting 28% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .885 OPS versus lefties. Marco Gonzalez pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .881 OPS versus righties. Harold Ramirez is 1 for 1 with a 2 OPS versus Gonzalez. Only $2,400 FanDuel salary, $900 more on DraftKings, averaging 7 fantasy points per game on the season, but he has a batting average of 319. So I like Harold Ramirez here versus Marco Gonzalez.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.